Okay. Itamexkanatoni. Good morning. It is going on toward 9 o'clock in the AM on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Probably in the lunar cycle. Apistishkit Satos now are transitioning into it, but I haven't seen the moon for a few days. Me and Polly are just waking up. It looks like Will is just waking up as well.
I want to tell you.
What are you gonna tell me?
Why we make YouTube videos? That's my reason.
Why do I make them?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just do. I haven't made one for probably 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Maybe even more.
Well, can I ask you something right? What was your first video?
I think it was probably a video with me and your grandpa.
Oh.
We did a lot of videos at first when we were doing our talks and stuff. Your late Grandpa Narcissus. Anyhow, yeah, it's been a few days since I've made a video.
Yeah.
And not because I haven't tried, but the days have been, I don't even know what to say. Lazy days. This kid needs a haircut. Look at that hair. We gotta do something. We gotta do something about that fraggly rock hair.
I know. It's so long.
Maybe we'll do a haircut today.
Yeah.
We don't got a whole lot on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's except for sleeping in, which we just finished doing. Chelsea's already been off to work for a couple, 2-3 hours now, and we're just lazy. Still 2 kids in bed. Me and Polly are just waking up.
No.
It's rainy outside.
I know.
Should show these guys how rainy. It's rainy.
That's why I don't want to go outside.
It's wet and cold. And it hasn't been rainy for days or anything. It's just rainy today, or just this morning, but it has been pretty quiet. Thought I was going to get a decent vlog in yesterday because there was some work to be done, but it was all duds. I had a raccoon in an attic situation where I climbed up into the attic hoping to get a good gauge on what's happening, and I could not find the animal up there.
What animal was it?
It was a raccoon, supposedly. But it was definitely a raccoon. From the looks up in the attic, raccoon was living there, but I couldn't find it.
Oh, maybe a camouflage because he's black.
I know, and it's hard to get in some of those attic spaces, so he could hide pretty easy.
We have a small attic.
Yeah, most places in Lethbridge don't really have an attic. They got kind of like a crawl space that you can just crawl through that's full of insulation and spiders.
Scared of spiders.
That's where the raccoons like to live. Where the insulation and the spiders are.
Why?
I don't know. And then this lady called me over to her house because she said she had a robin's nest right outside her bedroom window that was driving her nuts with the chirping. But I went to go climb up a ladder and look. There's no nest. There's no nest. So I don't know what she's hearing. But it ain't robins or any other birds up there. Unless they're just landing there for the fun of it. But there's not even any bird shit up there. So I don't know what she's talking about. She did, however, give me this big black scorpion. It's already passed away, but it used to be her pet. And it's dead, but she's been saving it in the freezer for me.
To eat it?
No. I'm going to put it in some resin or something. Some clear resin so that people can look at it.
Where's that scorpion?
It's at the studio. We'd have to go over to the studio to look at it. Maybe we'll go to the studio later today and have school. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's on our agenda today. Let's go see if the bird wants to come upstairs. Mr. Bird. I did finally receive beaver traps. 2 of them. So I will at the very least show you how those beaver traps work today. But I don't really want to set up because the area where I'm going to bring the beavers after I trap them is an area that I can't access very well on slippery, muddy stuff. So I gotta wait for dry. Come here. Come on. Let's go up. Mr. Bird.
Mr. Bird.
Mr. Derek. Probably one of the most exciting things that happened in the last few days was that we received our long-awaited bidet system
I just want to go to bed.
in the mail.
Goodbye.
Long-awaited.
Yeah. See it.
All right. So we think we may have a bidet. I've always wanted, well, not always, but for a few years now, I wanted a bidet. It's gonna be something totally different.
It's a bidet, and we got like if something should go wrong.
Me bidet.
Cold and hot.
I don't know what that
I
says.
don't know. I don't want to try.
Anyway, it's a cold and hot system. So apparently it's supposed to hook up to just any old toilet. We're gonna give it a shot.
Whenever our toilet's not modern though.
Yeah, this Roto-Rooter guy said our toilet is not modern
So
because it empties to the front instead of the back.
I don't get that.
But I think this doesn't.
Matter.
Yeah, this does not depend on which direction your flush goes. It just hooks to your seat thing somehow.
Open it.
I'll go. I will tape as you open. See how
How a bidet.
complicated this thing looks.
Whoa.
Sorry, I shouldn't have got involved.
Well, these are metal. You don't read the instructions, but you should this time.
It doesn't look that complicated.
All right then.
No,
Say.
I'm gonna definitely read the instructions on this one because this needs to go in right. Look at that, hey? So I got this off of Amazon.ca for, I don't know. I'm gonna have to check the price. I will talk about the price after the installation, but this is the unit. So, and it's an easy installation DIY.
Okay. Okay.
So we're gonna see how easy it is.
This
As long
is
as
gonna
it
be-
looks like the same like setup, toilet next to sink. We need the sink. Okay,
Yeah, it's the same exact setup actually.
right?
Yeah.
So it should work.
Okay then.
So here is what the bidet looks like installed. I'm not going to demonstrate it for you because it shoots halfway across the room, but it does work pretty good.
Yeah, it shoots up our butt cheeks.
The only thing that I haven't figured out yet is how to connect the hot water. Because right now I've got the cold water connected easy enough at the toilet, but hot is supposed to connect under the sink, and there are no valves to shut off the hot water here. There's no valves on the other side of the wall underneath our kitchen sink to shut off. And I went downstairs, looked in the ceiling. It does not appear to be that there are any valves down there to shut it off. And the main valve coming out of the hot water tank, which I would think, you know, intuitively would be the main shut off for the hot water, doesn't turn. So I'm not sure what to do about that. But yeah, we do have a bidet now. It's kind of fun. Shoots water in your bum.
Yeah.
Gets you nice and clean.
Yeah, you don't even waste just the toilet paper?
Yeah, you still just need a little toilet paper to dry off, but the garden has been changing. You probably noticed as I scanned past before. I now have my tomato plants all standing up in dollar store tomato plant supports, and all of my potatoes are supported. One of them's growing. This guy's almost to the ceiling. He's probably 8 foot tall potato. The little plants that were in the beds here, I moved.
This is tall. This is the same size as me.
I know. You know how tall you are? I don't know how tall you are, so I don't know how tall that thing is. You're probably 4 foot something, hey?
Yeah.
I'm going to show them the garden because that's kind of new. Installed the bed plants into the garden
Well, it's kind of cold.
just before it got cold and wet on them. So some of them are probably going to survive it. Some might not. We might as well let Polly out. He hasn't been out yet.
Yeah, okay.
Polio! Let's go out, Po. Chives are doing nice. They were already growing here before we got here, though. Yeah, here's my bed plants. So, this guy picked himself up. He was looking, oh no, he was fine before. It's this guy was worried about this pepper. It's looking a little bit fallen. Yeah, these are all my bed plants. We'll see if they survive the transfer. Is interesting philosophically to see what happens when you transfer bed plants, because some of them survive, some of them don't, and it may not be the ones that you expect. My grass is nice and mowed with my new lawnmower, which I love. The
Yeah.
pushy mower. Come on in, Po.
Well, we only have a lawnmower. We only have one. It hasn't.
I know, but that one is missing you know what, that's an electric one. You have to plug it in and let a battery charge. And and we don't even have the plug to plug it in with right now, so that's the deal with the other lawnmower. That's why we got the push one.
What's
The
hard?
tree, as you can see, has flowered. That's new.
Yeah.
All of our little crabapple trees are really busting out with color. Neighbors is not doing quite as good.
Will we see?
Hers isn't flowering like ours is. Ours is really flowered, and hers is kind of just half flowered.
Ours is really flowered.
It is. That's kind of cool.
Are those pepper?
Yeah, these are some pepper plants.
I hope these are hot.
But that's what we're gonna have to transplant them. The pot's too small. And that's what I was talking about. It's interesting that when you take something and transplant it, sometimes if it's struggling and you transplant it, sometimes it really helps it in the new situation. But sometimes you can have a nice healthy plant and you transplant it and you just shake its world up just a little bit and that healthy plant just sags. Ooh. So you never know who's going to survive a significant life shift. Who is going to help, who it's not going to help, you know. But we'll see. I'm hoping to have all of my plants survive, for better or for worse.
Hey Ryan,
Yeah.
these are not the kids. Like that was Reed's plants. I make a mess with it.
I know. Reed and Cody are kind of messy sometimes.
Yeah, they always craft.
Yeah, Cody likes to cut things up. That's why I buy her special scissors. Lots of extra scissors so she can do her cutting. Unfortunately, she cut the supports off of her sandals the other day, I saw.
And she cut Reed's blanket.
She cut Reed's blanket too. She cuts everything.
That's what she do.
She likes to cut. So, yeah, COVID day, whatever, I don't know. And things have been pretty boring around here.
Yeah, Well, 2 more days we can go to our dates.
Yeah, they're gonna go visit their dads for the weekend for the first time in 2 months.
Yeah.
Something like, or maybe a month and a half. Because you went to stay there one time when we were here, didn't? When we got back from Costa Rica, and me and your mom were stuck in the house, and you guys couldn't come here. Didn't you go to your dad's once?
Yeah.
I think so. So they're gonna go to their dad's again this weekend.
You went to Costa Rica and then the virus comes.
I know. It's wicked.
I think a Chinese person just ride with you.
No.
I think the virus ride with you.
No. It was here before we got here. Before we got back, you already had the virus here. So yeah, not sure what's on the agenda. Probably I'm not going to get animal calls. Haven't had any significant animal calls for a few days that weren't duds. Right now, with both the skunks and the raccoons, which are what I'm mostly dealing with, they both have little kits, little babies, but they're not quite big enough to follow their moms out of the dens and start foraging with them yet. And so we're really not seeing a lot of activity yet, but it's gonna, I'm getting a lot of calls. All my traps are out there, but they're not hitting because the moms are still nursing. Once that ends, it's gonna be a blitzkrieg of trapping. Anyway, I'll get my coffee going here. Start the morning. We'll see what the day brings.
Yeah. Well.
Okay, it looks as though I have arrived at that part of the day when I'm going to camp myself here at the kitchen table for probably the better part of the afternoon, immersed in various projects. I'm starting with the continued efforts on my matchstick box. But I'll probably also play a little guitar and watch some podcast stuff on YouTube. Maybe even do a little bit of work, but in a fun way. I need to experiment with this new Facebook rooms thing. I just noticed this morning, or a little bit earlier, I opened my Facebook news feed and I noticed at the top there was this option to create Ryan's room, and I'd never seen that before. So I went and Googled, what's a Facebook room about, and I guess they're actually called messenger rooms or something like that, but not when you're using the application. On the application, it's like Ryan's room. It's like I made a joke about it. I was like, on my Facebook news feed, I said, Facebook rooms, new gateway to kinkiness. But I see my friend Sunny D's already got one. I can just imagine how many marriages and such Facebook rooms is going to destroy. Like, I imagine it's going to be significant, but I need to still investigate its application for education, because I talked to some of the higher ups the other day. What's going on with the program? Are we going to relaunch? What's the word? And so it looks like we're pushing for a September or October relaunch, a fall relaunch of the program, my arts and entrepreneurship program. But we are planning to follow probably whatever the protocols for safety and for COVID that the post-secondary institutions are gonna do. And I saw yesterday that the president of the university had said they are planning to have fall semester at the University of Lethbridge completely online. So I need to start thinking about that, revamping my program with the notion that all or most of the delivery, or some significant portion anyway, is going to be online. It's very timely for me that Facebook, which is a popular application even among those who don't wouldn't necessarily, that might be intimidated by something like Zoom, or you have to have a special application like Skype that they don't normally use, but most people use Facebook. And whether or not they do, they can still use the rooms. They can still be invited to the rooms, and the rooms can hold up to 50 people conversing in video together. That's interesting. So I'm going to test it out at some point, maybe today. See how that works. At least look further into it, and I should start probably doing some of my planning to relaunch my program. It's fairly crucial, and for me, I have very selfish interests too, in that the timing of the relaunch works very well in terms of providing me with winter work again, which I really need. So that is yet to come. I'm going to play with my arts and such here for a bit. Probably make some, heat up some frozen pizzas for everybody for lunch. And so we're going with the health food today. And yeah, we'll see what else.
If you had to wear protective clothing to help you, what would it be?
A mask. No, I don't wear a yellow suit. Mask.
A yellow suit and mask, okay. Are you enjoying the lockdown?
No way.
What is the best thing about having to stay home?
Watch. Yeah.
Watch what?
YouTube.
Yeah, we got a surprise. Early home.
Yeah.
Early coming home from Chelsea.
Yeah. I don't guys.
Got off of work. Having our pizza. These guys are gonna pack up.
Yeah.
Go to grandma's house.
Okay, right now.
Pretty quick.
After our pizza. What is this? Amigos.
That is the tomatoes.
Mama, we
But
go
leave it back
to
on your
grandma's
plate, not on the
tomorrow. We
Oh,
don't.
we're sleeping there.
Well, good for eating the. We don't like the. We don't like the tomatoes.
Okay.
Me too. We eat everything else.
Okie doke.
It actually tastes like
And
a little
Reed
bit
is just
hot.
Toddler.
It tastes a little bit hot, and then it tastes good. I don't like that. We have a special day. Can we make some more of these? Because, well, we can have plain cheese because he's not like eating too fast.
Uh-oh. Well, Chelsea and the kids have headed out. They're going to sleep out at her parents' house this evening, allowing me a little bit more opportunity to get to my doctor's appointment tomorrow without too much headache of trying to work around, having the kids with me. There's no way I can bring all of them into the clinic with me. And of course, I'm not really supposed to leave them out in the vehicle. We could hire a babysitter, but Chelsea's mom is going to look after them tomorrow. So they're going to stay over there tonight because Chelsea's work is closer to there, and rather than trying to wake up very, very early and get all the kids ready and off and that kind of thing, the kids can just sleep in while Chelsea goes off and heads to work as usual. So I am bachelor for the night. And I don't imagine the night to be very long. It's shortly after 7 o'clock in the p.m. now, and as you can see, the natural light in the house is dimming. I'm a kind of a guy who, if you haven't noticed, I enjoy mostly relying on what natural light I can bring through the house. So I often leave, my front door open with just the screen there so that the light can come through during the day and all of that. So yeah, as things get dark here, I'm probably going to get sleepy, and I don't imagine that I will be up very late. Just want to open the window. Yeah. So, I don't know if there's going to be any more content to this video. And I'm kind of embarrassed as it is to put it out there. But it's a documentary piece about, what life is like for me this past week or so, as we continue to kind of, I don't know. Right now, I feel like I should be getting really inventive and starting to work on, how to revamp the delivery of educational type material in different situations that I'm often called on to do it. And I'm not really doing any of that. So, and I think that's just COVID laziness. Because I had a good chunk of my day that I could have done some of that, but it never happened. So I don't know. But I do know that my Canadian relief fund or relief whatever opportunity, the $2,000 a month, only for 4 months, only has 1 month left already. So things are gonna get interesting, I think, all around Canada, because we are still quite deep into this thing, I believe. Anyway, probably out for the night. Ken.